everyone. It's a great covers weekend, and I have a little bit of explaining to do about this weekend because otherwise you might be really confused. So just yesterday, I listened for the first time to Floridian Shinedown's version of Simple Man, and it was a first listen both to the artist and to the song. In the process of that, of course, I discovered that it wasn't Shinedown's original. Shinedown kind of made it freshly popular, perhaps. But it turns out that Lynyrd Skynyrd was the one who created the song in the first place. And so, I've decided the very first thing I'm going to do today is listen to Lynyrd Skynyrd's version, original, and turn it into a great covers weekend. But this is where it gets a bit confusing. I've already listened to the cover. The cover will come on the channel tomorrow. And today, since this is the original, you will see me listening to Lynyrd Skynyrd first. Only I've already listened. So that's how it's kind of a funny turnaround, tumbled arrangement. But it's going to be fun. And it's going to be fun to kind of go back now that I've heard Shinedown's version and go back and see where did he get this from and how did Lynyrd Skynyrd put it together in the first place, especially since Lynyrd Skynyrd is a band that I've only listened to one of their songs. That was Sweet Home Alabama. And so this is also me getting a little bit more familiar with Lynyrd Skynyrd as well. So with that all being said, let's just read a little bit and then we'll listen. Simple Man is a song released on their debut album in 1973. The song is one of Lynyrd Skynyrd's most popular. Since the song became available for digital download, it has become Lynyrd Skynyrd's third best-selling digital song after Sweet Home Alabama and Free Bird. I haven't yet listened to Free Bird, but that will come. It has sold 1,333,000 copies in the US as of November 2013. Well, it's a good thing that I'm going back to listen to this original then. And let's just see how it sounds. Okay, this is interesting for me to hear the two like this, and I'm going to have to comment on the song that you are going to watch me listen to tomorrow in order to compare the two in this great covers weekend. So if I say something and you're like, wait, what is she talking about? Just hang on and watch it tomorrow. First of all, I noticed an interesting little feature between the accompaniment here and the melody. Well, the one I listened to yesterday that you will hear tomorrow, I commented on how the accompaniment was so incredibly simple and it stayed out of the way. The focus was on the voice. This is different. This, Lynyrd Skynyrd, has made this an accompaniment which still kind of stays out of the way, but it's more of a feature of the song. It's more, it contributes more to the overall feel and musical experience. One of the things that, well, one of the big elements of this accompaniment is the way that it walks up. Let's hear the very beginning. Bum bum bum, da da dum, da da dum. That walking up. 1, 2, 3. And I was curious because I wasn't sure how much the melody would be different than Shinedown's version. I was curious if maybe I would hear that in the melody somewhere. I don't hear it a whole lot. Instead, I hear da-da-dum, Mama told me. So we have da-da-dum in the accompaniment, and then we have Mama told me. Let's hear that here at the beginning. Mama told me when I was young, basically simplified. Sit beside me, my only son. It's kinda. Listen closely to what I say. And if you do this, D-D-D, walking up, D-D-D-D. Okay, it's doing something different here, but D-D. That's the first thing. So it's kind of like it's counterbalancing this descent, which we hear so immediately when the song itself begins. Mama told me. This is da-da-dum. It's kind of lifting it up and making sure that it doesn't descend too much. There's a balance. There's a shape to it. You could think of it kind of like this, or a contrary motion activity going on between the two. So that's something that is an important part of how we feel this song. It's not depressed, neither is it super bright, but there's a bit of each in here. And the other thing, which I commented on, and you will notice how much I enjoyed it with Shinedown's version, when you get to hear that tomorrow, is the way he sang, and be a simple kind of man. And I talked about how he really keeps the energy going through that long sustained note, and it powers its way through there in a way that really, it's compelling. This Lynyrd Skynyrd version is it's a very different voice from Shinedown's version. Very different. This, I won't class it as country, but it has more of that countrified vocal quality. And one of the things that makes me say that is the way he's singing his lines. Whenever there's a place where something is held out, it's not intended to carry us to the next beat or the next next word or even the next note kind of is more of a conversational sound. Mama told me when I was young. It's kind of a stylized recitation of something we might hear someone saying if they're sitting on their front porch. Mama told me when I was young, come sit beside me, my only son. And it follows the contour of the pauses within the text very closely. Places where you might breathe if you're not presenting it formally. You know, when we speak, we don't always speak non-stop and stay focused until we get to a punctuation point. Instead, and listen closely to what I say. And if you do this, it'll help you some sunny day. It's almost as if we're hearing the points in which the speaker is pausing to think and gather their thoughts. And that's something that I notice about country music whenever I hear it in my surroundings. And even the vocal style here, it's much less bluesy and more country, if I were going to separate the two categories and place each voice. So Shinedown's version tended more bluesy. Lynyrd Skynyrd's tends a little bit more country. And so this stands out to me when he sings, and be a simple kind of man, because instead of carrying it on, and I won't elaborate on that more because you'll hear my discussion of it tomorrow, be sitting on the edge of your seats until then. But I noticed that instead here, he gives it an escape, and be a simple kind of man. It's a completely different take on that line, and it's fun to hear the difference and how it affects the overall feel of that line. Walking up.
Get your lust.
Walking down.
For the rich man's gold. All that you need is in your soul. And you can do this, baby, if you try.
So I'm thinking about how do these differences between the two versions, how would I describe the way I perceive this in comparison to Shinedown's version, and even this just on its own as the original? Well, when Shinedown sings this song, plays this song, there's more of a feeling of intimacy, heart-to-heart talk. This one is more of a feeling of, you find one of those down-homey gems of wisdom passed on and passed around the neighborhood. It's still Mama told me, but it doesn't feel so personal, so intimately personal. It feels more like maybe instead of somebody's telling me directly about the recollections, as I said in Shinedown's version, it feels like maybe an older person, and you ask, what has been one of the best pieces of advice, or what has guided you through your life, and so you hear this personal story. This feels more like, you're meeting somebody at the feed store, or you are perhaps even listening to an elder tell a story in church. Mama told me and it's kind of more of a proverbial feeling of this is wisdom that I got from my mama, and I'm sharing it with you, but it doesn't quite have that same feeling of direct intimacy in the telling of it. And it has to do with the fact that partly the music is more of a feature of what carries this along. So we're listening to the lyrics less closely. We hear them coming and going, but it's more the whole set of lyrics and less a specific line or a certain moment in the singing of it. And also this feeling of travel, motion. The music is just continuing the motion, carrying us along. And that also is one of the things that makes it so we pay less attention to the details. Or in other words, we feel the details of the text less powerfully. It doesn't mean it's a negative thing. It's just a difference between the two. You can have two different ways of presenting, or many different ways of presenting. And this is one of those. And so I think you'll be interested to hear my first listen to Shinedown's version, just to see the difference in reaction and the different things that I hear in the music between the two. I feel this contrast so strongly between dee 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 and oh don't you worry. At first, at the beginning, I thought, that's an interesting little feature of the music, but it's one of the things that to me comes across so strongly here, and especially after listening to this solo section and the way each one carried us up. And then we gradually traveled around and down. But then when this comes in, oh, don't you worry. It's such a contrast to dee 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 dee. Oh, don't you worry. Almost as if it's when he sings, oh, don't you worry. He's really stepping forward and saying, making a strong statement with this. Oh, don't you worry. You feel that descent and that assurance, the confidence. Oh, don't you worry. Because of the way it contrasts with the music, the instrumentals behind it.
Oh, don't you worry. You'll
As I'm listening to this Lynyrd Skynyrd version, I'm trying to sum up how do I feel the difference between Lynyrd Skynyrd and Shinedown and the way they present it, because they are very different. In fact, the message I get from each one is different. And that to me is the biggest contrast between the two. If I were going to put in a nutshell how I feel about what this Lynyrd Skynyrd song is expressing, it feels to me like it's expressing a set of commonly held values within a community, within an area. This is something that everybody agrees with and everybody kind of lives by. This is something that is familiar territory in a place. That's how it sounds to me. Whereas with Shinedown's version, it feels like it is an important gem of wisdom, some guiding advice which has had a big impact on a specific individual throughout their life. And that is how I feel the two performances, the two renditions of this, kind of in a nutshell. I like that. I guess if I were going to choose a favorite, should I choose a favorite? Would you like me to choose a favorite? This is a bit unfair because I feel like I would like you to hear my first listen of Shinedown before I voice my favoritism. But it's going to have to be this. You hear it now, and then tomorrow, go ahead and listen to Shinedown anyway. I prefer Shinedown. I do. I prefer the sense of intimacy and preciousness that somehow comes across in that performance. I don't dislike this one, but it feels a bit ordinary to me. And that's just how I perceive it. But I would love to hear your thoughts and comments, especially after you get to hear my first listen to Shinedown's cover of it. And so I'll be looking forward to see what you say. And I'll see you soon.